AI isn't just for tech giants anymore. It's affecting every aspect of business, from marketing to sales to operations and then some. And we have found that there's two basic groups. People are either overwhelmed or they're dangerously overconfident in their ability and their understanding and comfort level with AI. Now, in this episode, we're going to break down how AI can actually work for everybody.
Welcome to Fordify Live with your host, Ford Saeks.
Now, joining me today is Joel Comm. He's the host of AI for Everyone. He's a best-selling author, keynote speaker, digital marketing veteran, and someone who's made a career out of making online business accessible. Now, Joel's known for so many things, and I just want to welcome you to Fordify Live, Joel.
Man, it's great to see you again. Thanks for having me.
So I was, stalking you on social media, and I saw you're doing this new thing. And so share with our listeners a little bit about your background and then how you got into this new project you're working on.
Yeah, I've been doing tech stuff since, 1980, when I bought a TRS-80 Model 1 computer and was dialing into BBSs at 300 baud. So that means technically I've been in the online world for, 45 years? I can't do math, but something like that. And I built my first website in 1995. And since that time, I've created sites, sold a site to Yahoo, built a iPhone app that went to #1 in the world, hosted and produced the world's first competitive internet reality show, and written 15 books all about technology and helping people build their businesses online. And I've kind of been in semi-retirement for the past few years while continuing to co-host the Bad Crypto podcast, a show about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin that's now in its 9th season. But really what I realized was, as quickly as AI is moving, there is a segment of the demographic that is kind of being left behind. And you alluded to it. It's our demographic. It's right. The older demographic, the 55 plus, that this AI world has come on so quickly, and it can be scary. It can be confusing. People can really get lost in the weeds of the technology and what large language models are. And none of that is really important. My goal in creating the AI for Everyone show is to demonstrate how AI can be easy, useful, and fun for anybody that wants to use these tools.
Yeah, so we're live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and a few other places. And the audio from this episode becomes the Business Growth Show podcast. So if you're listening online, it's Joel Comm, JoelComm, and you can find him online everywhere, but certainly at AIForEveryOneShow.com. All right, so, I agree with you that there's this challenge because, right now in the speaking business, everybody with a laptop that can't make it as a leadership speaker is now an AI speaker, right? So there's all this noise, and there are all these, what should you do? And here's how you prompt. And I always say, look, forget about the technology. Don't get seduced by the technology. Focus on your outcome. It's just a tool. But I also believe it's a serious disruptor in society, in relationships, in jobs. There's people have fear of losing their job. They have fear of keeping up their skills. And I say, Joel, there's no such thing as job security, only skills security. And I love your show, and I love what you're doing. So how do you help people that are, let's say, over 40 or 50, with those folks that might not have as big a tech background? Maybe they might be technology background, but in this new age that we're all living in?
Well, I think there's plenty of AI-related shows out there that are dealing with the technology, and they're dealing with grappling with the philosophical issues around what AI means for the future. I wanted to get back to the basics because people are so intimidated by this. I wanted to take them by the hand and say, hey, look, let's see what AI can do for you in your personal life. And let's not get, overwhelmed or bogged down with the technology. So the episodes you see are between 5 and 10 minutes, and they're very straightforward and focused on one topic. For example, which AI is best for you? And I do a quick comparison of Claude and Grok and ChatGPT. I showed in another recent episode how you can turn a doodle into a new piece of art using AI, really just focusing on this one thing so that people can have a snackable piece of content. And when they're done, they feel like, oh, I can do that. That is something I can take with me. And I don't need to worry about how did it all work? How did it happen? You don't need to know how to really prompt just to use AI.
Yeah, I think when I've been doing a lot of keynotes lately for brands B2B, B2C around the globe. And, we cover the mindset piece because that's the first part. If they don't have their mindset dialed in, if they're not open-minded, coachable, and accountable and proactive and curious, they can't really leverage AI, right? So once you cover that piece, then they're in the tactical part. And I found that a lot of people treat it like Google, and that's why they get bad mistakes. So they try to use AI and they just type in a simple sentence. And then what I'm telling them is, look, I've got a check method. I've got a couple AI books I've written, and mine isn't about the technology. It's, look, give it the context, give it the expectation, have a conversation, but remember to keep the human in the loop. And what I'm finding, Joel, is a lot of people, once they get introduced to AI and they start becoming an advocate for it, I see a shift in overconfidence to where they stop reviewing what they're getting out of ChatGPT and they start relying on it more and copy and paste. So it has 1 million emojis and 25 M dashes and it's really obvious now. And so my whole mission is, look, keep the human in the loop. But do you find similar things in the people that you've worked with?
I feel like AI definitely has its output that you can spot and that Google can spot. Like
Right.
If you're just creating AI articles and putting them up on your website, you're not going to get SEO juice from that. You have to humanize it. One way that I've been doing that is with Quillbot, to go in and actually put it in there and say, hey, could you rewrite this, give it a more human feel? And then I personally give it that extra layer of humanity and edit it myself before I post it, because I want to make sure that what it's posting is true and that it matches my tone. This is something that I would say, because you don't want to just put out content that is AI generated, and that's not going to go well for you.
No, it really won't. I mean, I like I said, it gets you 70% there, so not 100. And then even if you train it, and there's all these different reasons, but I look at 4 different levels of AI. I look at the large language models, level 1. Level 2 is all the specialty products, like Canva now has AI, Adobe has AI, HeyGen, 11 Labs, there's Notebook ML, there's thousands, right? Hundreds of thousands of specialty apps. And then level 3 is digital assistants. I used to call them agents. Can't call them agents anymore because agents mean something else now. But where you can create digital custom GPTs in ChatGPT, in Claude, you can create projects and spaces and Perplexity and so forth. And so there's customization. Then you have AI workflows. One of the things we're doing right now is, because I've written so many books and I've got clients with so many books, we're helping them take their book, put it through a workflow where they upload the book, it divides it into all their chapters, synthesizes all their content, creates a bunch of sample articles and posts and carousels for Instagram, all automatically from their content, so it's not being made up, and then being able to post effectively after approval. And so AI is used as a tool, not a replacement.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Look, we have to keep humanity into this. And I think at some point when we have general artificial intelligence, we're going to discover that it can do a lot more. But I feel like there's going to be a dumbing down. Remember the movie Idiocracy? I feel like we're kind of moving more towards that anyway. And, there's kids today that are coming out of high school that can't read. There's kids that can't read a clock. They need the digital clock to tell them what time it is. They can't read a watch face. And I'm fearful for AI that it's going to make people lazy, and it's just one step closer to kind of like the cartoon Wall-E, where everybody's just being carted around. But I don't think it has to be that way. Right. Technology is and has always been amoral. It's neither good nor bad. It's how we use it. And so I really want to encourage people to engage with AI, to keep their mind sharp. Yes, use it to help you decide, hey, here's a picture of what I got in the fridge. What can I make with this? But then cook it, right? Prepare this recipe yourself and enjoy the results of it. One day we'll have the Tesla robots that will do it for us, but right here and now, let's keep it simple and let's figure out how we can leverage AI for our lives in a practical way that doesn't dumb us down, but makes us sharper.
Now, again, if you're listening, you joined late, check them out at AIForEveryOneShow.com. Short, helpful episodes. As my listeners know, I don't recommend anything that I don't believe in. And Joel and I go way back. I mean, back from your first iPhone app, which you didn't mention, but everybody knows what it is. That if you knew what the app was, you'd know who Joel is. But he's been a pioneer in transformation and disruption for decades, everybody. So you can count on his show being timely, topical, practical, and filled with actionable takeaways. All right. So you've written a lot of books and you've got a lot of podcasts and you've created all kinds of products and workflows and you've worked with the top companies around the globe. How has AI affected your approach to content and monetization now? Like you said, you don't want to just copy and paste it out of AI. How are you approaching it differently? Before you answer, so here's what I'm doing. I'm using custom GPTs for everything. Even my high-end coaching clients, the first thing I do is I create a custom GPT. That's the first thing. Then what I'm doing is I'm continually training and upgrading it with the training models to make sure it has the right brand voice and output. I'm making sure that there's acceptable use policies and the humans in the loop. So I use ChatGPT. Then I use Claude for writing because Claude seems to write better content. So even if I go to Quillbot and ask it to rephrase it, I was using Jasper and I like Quillbot. I get better results now out of Claude. It sounds more like me. I've trained it with my articles and my books. I've uploaded all my books. And now the writing looks, I mean, it sounds just like me. And I'm like, did I write that or was that AI? So I know I'm doing good there. So I'm using ChatGPT. I'm using Claude for writing. I'm using Perplexity as my Perplexity for me has replaced Google. I go to Perplexity first because I know it goes to all these different sources. It goes to Reddit and it goes to other AI models. But then what I'm doing is I'm cross-prompting, Joel. So I'm taking the output and then going back into other AI models to try to, it's kind of like my board of advisors. I'm trying to get a consensus. But the challenging part for me is, people, AI is really encouraging. Oh, Joel, this is great. This is a great thing. But then you challenge AI and say, well, this sounds kind of salesy. Oh, you're 100% correct. Let me rewrite that. And then, and then you say, well, this sounds kind of like BS. Oh, you're 100% correct. So it's so encouraging to the layperson that I want to caution everybody that just because it's basically a toaster on autocomplete, but it simulates the human behavior. And I love talking to it. I mean, I like the voice activation more than the typing. I mean, when I'm at my desktop, I'm pretty much typing, but when I'm on my mobile device, it's all audible, no matter what language model I'm using.
Yeah, for sure. And what I'm doing is far less complex than what you've done. You're still serving, you serve a lot of business clients, and I'm really aiming for, the average person that is intimidated or scared by AI to make it easy for them to understand. So much so that a recent episode, my mom was visiting and I included her on the episode because I wanted to demonstrate before her and the audience, let's take an image, an old image when there was no video of it, and let's animate it and bring it to life just to see her reaction. And she was like, wow. And that's really what I'm going for. For myself, I use ChatGPT to build out the podcast itself to determine, okay, is anybody reaching this particular audience? Are they talking them in a way that is not over their heads, that is highly technical, that isn't fear-based, and then build out the episodes. And let's see, what are some of the topics that would be of interest? Okay, this is a great show. Let's script out an episode that's going to be 5 to 10 minutes. So let's build a show card for this using me in a Pixar style, which is, you can see this background. This is the background I use for the show. And there's an avatar that I use for the show that is a cartoon version of me. And then I've done some things like use LemonSlice to create fully animated talking Joels and put my voice over it. And it's so fun playing with these tools. And that is the angle that I want to bring to people. Personally, I use Grok quite a bit. It's replaced my search. So, I'll never use Google again. I just ask the question. Or if I'm out and about, I was traveling with my girlfriend, Erin. She's like, what kind of flower is that? I don't know. Take a picture.
Right.
Grok. Right. What kind of flower is it? Boom. Instant answer, practical, useful, gives me what I want. And now I can learn more based on what it's given me.
Yeah, I had a show. I had Brian Sowalwich who's the president of a company called Starkey, which is the largest hearing aid company, or one of the largest manufacturers. They've got dealers all over the world. And I had him on the show, and because he was in business growth and he's been innovative. And so afterwards, he said, well, let me hook you up with some hearing aids. And, I'm 64 years old, but, they say, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? So I'm like a 15-year-old man child, right? Like, I don't feel 64, right? But and I'm thinking, I'm not wearing these frickin', I'm not going to wear hearing aids. And he said, no, Ford, they're not hearing aids. It's wearable technology. Well, when I have them on, they're like, and I know with my iPods, I can use noise canceling and all that. And it has everything, and it has instant AI translations. So if I'm just in a room and someone's talking another language, it translates it in real time into my ears. And I know that there's, glasses now and there's all kinds of different AI methodologies, but I just share with people, look, this isn't going anywhere. You're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. So if you're fearful, obviously check out AIforeveryone.show.com. Check out what Joel's doing, but be curious, everybody. You can't sit on the sidelines and wait for the dust to settle, because you're going to fall behind. The greatest risk I see with AI isn't adopting it too soon. It's waiting too long and then falling way behind and then feeling overwhelmed because it seems confusing. But, it's like when you turn on the TV set, we don't care how the TV set works. You don't care how the signal comes into the TV and gets converted to digital and then gets projected through the pixel. Like, all you do is turn on the TV and change the channel. And that's the same thing with AI. I want people to realize it's just part of your workflow. It's an and, not an or. It's not, do I use AI or not? It's an and then keeping the human in the loop.
Yeah, it can really augment your life. And so for that person that's got grandchildren and they're coming over for the night, in a matter of moments, you could use Gemini's storybook and write a fully animated story based on your grandchild and read it to them as a bedtime story. It's just amazing to me how many practical uses there are for AI that people can incorporate into their lives now. That said, I do touch on some of the dangers of AI, but not it's not about Skynet. It's not about the robots are taking over. It's practical stuff. For example, the voice scams. You mentioned 11 Labs earlier, and it's so easy to train AI to pattern somebody else's voice. And so what some scammers are doing is they are calling, say, mom, and say, hey, it's Joel, and I've got an issue, and I need $5,000 right away. Can you send it to me via Venmo or whatever? And so what we recommend people do, because these can be so seemingly authentic, is have a safe word for your family.
Say that,
Yeah, talk about it and say, hey, if you ever get a call from somebody in the family and it sounds real and there's an urgency, especially to send money, stop and say, wow, that sounds like it's really bad. Do me a favor and tell me the safe word. And if they don't tell you what that safe word is, and it could be anything, but only your family members know, then you've got a scammer. Hang up that phone and ignore them.
Yeah, well, I think that going forward, the AI avatars are getting so amazing. We use HeyGen for stuff, and you can still tell that it's AI generated, but sometimes, like even on short TikToks and things, my team I've got an avatar in HeyGen. They use 11 Labs with my voice. They create the script. I approve it. They throw it up into HeyGen, and it creates the video with my, it's me talking in my background. It's my video, but it's AI. And there's been times where I thought that it was actually something I recorded. It's gotten that good. And I think that's the scary part. Yeah, well,
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, it's like, give me a raise. Hey, I didn't say that. But it's like, what I would say is, going forward, you want to be playful and curious, but you do want to have conscious. AI will hallucinate. It will make things up. It does make mistakes. And just caution as you become an advocate and you become, I've said this like 3 times in this episode already, as you become more comfortable using these tools, don't get complacent to where you're just copying and pasting. You've still got to pay attention. So one of my fun tools right now is Gamma. I don't know if you've played with Gamma. Gamma.app. So Gamma.app is really a pretty cool tool. So like I was doing a proposal for a brand. They wanted a brand markover, right? And so I had a Zoom call. I recorded the Zoom call. I took it into my custom GPT. It analyzed their personality styles and their outcome and did all the things I've trained it to do. And then it created the narrative for the proposal based on their needs, in my style of being benefit oriented, problem, agitate, solve. I trained it. So it writes this proposal, and all I had to do was copy the narrative from ChatGPT into gamma.app, and it built all the pitch deck and everything and created a video, and it was really, really good. I was just like, because I've heard all these tools. Oh, use this tool. So some of my favorites right now are gamma.app. I like Canva, but Canva's AI is a little hokey, right? But Canva still works good. I used to use Adobe Premiere for everything. Now I'm using Filmora. There's all kinds of video editing tools, Opus Clip and Taja and a bunch of other ones. But I'm using it for repurposing and for B-roll. Gamma makes great pictures. Yeah, I've tried Grok and I've tried Gemini and I've created custom gems. And now, for those of you thinking I'm talking too fast, you don't worry about it. You can just go to Perplexity and say, here's my outcome. What software should I use? And Perplexity or Grok will help you figure out which tool to use because they're changing all the time. But going back to the favorites,
Sport, have you downloaded and installed the new Comet browser from Perplexity?
Yes, I have, and it's a little spooky to do work with the sidebar of Comet. And what happened was I was doing an AI masterclass 2 weeks ago, and I was talking about ChatGPT's new custom agent, and I connected ChatGPT through the Connections app to my Gmail. I wrote a prompt and said, go to my Gmail, because I don't use my Gmail for business. If anybody emails me there, I just use it for social media and logging into certain accounts. And I said, go unsubscribe me from every newsletter that isn't related to AI, because I don't need it for that. And it actually opened up a browser and did all that. Well, once I was done with that morning, Comet came out, right? And so I was presenting and I said, hey, everybody, there's a new browser and it's perplexity.ai/download-Comet. So you guys can all on this episode go get it and practice it. Now, I haven't used it too much. Have you used it?
No, I just, you had to sign up on their wait list to be able to download it. Is it public now?
Yeah, it's public.
Because I just got it.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. I can send you I think they're trying to launch it in beta mode, but if you're watching this right now, if you go to perplexity.ai/download-Comet, it'll probably let you download it directly. Okay. But the key is it's all getting smarter. It's just like you said, the voice activations, the voice methodologies. I use voice, like I was grocery shopping the other day and I was looking at which kind of cottage cheese to use, because I wanted something that was lactose tolerant, even though I'm not lactose intolerant, and all I did was take a picture standing about 5 feet back of the whole shelf, and AI immediately listed them out by best to worst, top to bottom, and the pros and cons. And I mean, it's like you said, you can take a picture of your refrigerator, but I can't wait to when you can upload video and you can upload audio and you can use ChatGPT to transcribe now, even though we use another program called Sonics.ai. But what's happening, the real takeaway, everybody, is don't get seduced by all the programs. Focus on your outcome. What are you trying to do? And then work backwards from there. Start simple, get complicated later, right?
That's great advice. There's so many tools and they're coming out at such a breakneck pace that you can't keep up, which is, I kind of feel like my podcast is kind of like a sedative to the space. Say, whoa, slow down. Let's actually do something. And once you understand
lemon drop, tell me about this lemon drop. I was going to write it down, but tell me about this new one you're talking about.
It's LemonSlice.
LemonSlice. Okay. LemonSlice. See, I didn't even know.
Yeah. So you can create an avatar. And in my case, I uploaded a photo of me and I said, create it in this, take this style. And it's kind of like a Pixar Joel. Right. And then you can make it talk, basically. Say, okay, here's the script. This is my voice. now animate it to my voice. And it's amazing. There's actually one of the videos on my YouTube channel at AI for Everyone is just AI did this. And it's about a minute and a half promo for the show. That's just my animated Joel talking. And it is amazing how it picks up on some of the facial expressions, because it can't see me talking, but it knows by the tone of my voice that, hey, I'm really excited right now. And my eyebrows go up and the smile gets bigger. I'm blown away. It's not perfect. Like if you watch this video, you actually see at one point, my mouth opens really wide, like that. And it's like, okay, that's kind of funny, but I'm going to leave it because it's authentic AI and it demonstrates that this isn't perfect, but it's really cool and a lot of fun. And I love that so many of the tools will give you a trial of some, amount of credit so you can check it out. And it, worst case scenario, I tell people, hey, try a 7-day trial of whatever you want this week. And then if it's not a tool you're going to use, just cancel when the trial's up and move on to another tool. There's so many to experiment with, but pace yourself. You don't have to do everything. You're never going to keep up with it all. It's like trying to watch the 24-hour news cycle. What are you going to do? DVR the news you missed? No, it's always there. It's always moving. So just get in the flow. Don't feel pressured by it. Enjoy the process.
I got hired to speak for a company out of Toronto or Montreal, not Toronto, out of Montreal. And it was a virtual presentation and they wanted it pre-recorded, and they were asking me if I would put French subtitles in it, which you can easily do. You can do that in PowerPoint. PowerPoint actually lets you translate, record, and put subtitles. But I said, what if I did the presentation in French? And they're like, what are you talking about? I know you don't speak French. And I said, well, I'm going to use HeyGen. And at the time, the maximum video you could do, this was a couple of years ago when HeyGen first came out, it was 5 minutes. So I had a 60-minute episode video. I did 12 5-minute videos, and I basically uploaded each segment, and it converted it to French. And I started the presentation out by saying, hey, this is Ford Saeks. I know they said I could speak in English with French subtitles, but I thought this would even be nicer for you. And the topic wasn't AI. The topic was local marketing mastery. So it wasn't even an AI topic. But I said, look, I'm going to use a AI generator to translate. So please forgive any dialect mistakes I make in French, but I thought this would be more enjoyable to you. Let's continue. And so then it goes through the whole thing in French. And I was the hit of the conference because all the other speakers who didn't speak English, they had to listen to them in English and read the subtitles. And it was so great that I had it all transferred. And now you can even do more. So I like 11 Labs for voice. I like HeyGen for video. I was using Be Human, but I never could get that thing to do what it said it could do. And I just finally said, and I spent a lot of money on it. But I use HeyGen, but I'm going to check out the Lemon Drop one. I think that'll be cool because
LemonSlice. LemonSlice.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to hit the button here. LemonSlice, everybody. And
I'm sure you've used Sono for music. Yeah. The last episode I did demonstrated how anybody can go to Sono, not pay a penny, and be able to write a song, right on the spot. It's so fun. It's something that I do sitting down over a meal with friends. They'll be talking to me about something exciting happening in their life, and I'll be kind of typing into a prompt, write me lyrics for a song about Ben and his excursion on this cruise, and it'll make the lyrics in ChatGPT. Then I'll paste them into Suno, give it a style that I'll know will resonate with that person, and go, hey, I wrote you a song. Boop, hit play. And they're like, what? That's magic. And that's the thing about this, I think, for especially the older crowd. AI can appear like it is magic. And I guess it's technological magic. It's not real magic, but it sure feels like it.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, I've been fascinated since it first was on the scene. I was an early adopter. I was using Jasper. Jasper was called Jupiter before it started, and then it went to then Quillbot, and then Grammarly. And Grammarly's AI. I mean, at the end of the day, I was using these tools back in before, and then as soon as ChatGPT got released, I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going to head, and I could see it ramping. And I got out ahead of the curve to help people really navigate the waters. And it's interesting because, I've done 3 presentations in the last 2 weeks around the globe, and I'll have everybody stand up and I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, If you feel like you're a rock star and really comfortable, stay standing. If you feel like you're at a 5, then sit down. And so I started counting up. In most audiences, most people sit down now but by the time I get to 5, half the audience is gone. By 7, 90%. And there's always these people that stand up all the way till 10. They just think they know everything. And I go, okay, we're going to present. So then I'll present for 60 to 90 minutes and I'll have them stand up again. And I'll say, okay, let's revisit your level of understanding now after you've had this presentation. By 3, everybody sits down because the problem is they don't know what they don't know. And my role is just shift your mindset, be curious, realize that you're not going to know everything and you don't need to know everything. Just like you said, I mean, one of the apps I've liked right now is PhotoMine. I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's an iPhone app. But I digitized all my old photo albums and I didn't have to put them through a scanner and do all that. I literally could take a picture of an album with 4 pictures on it and it immediately understood that there was 4 different pictures and made the pictures, then color corrected them and straightened them up, took off the glare. Oh my goodness. It did it so quickly. So I was able to go through albums in an hour and digitize my whole library. And I have good quality photos because, they get deteriorated over time. And so AI has gotten so good. And now with Gamma, if I do a deck or something, I can say, use an illustration, use photorealistic, use an icon, or use a cartoon. And they're all getting so good. Even video replacement in Premiere. Like you can do a Premiere and say, take out the water bottle, take out the background. It's just, I just can't imagine an organization or a human who's on this planet that isn't at least curious enough to say, hey, I need to participate a little bit.
Well, I think a lot of people are intimidated and they're scared by it because there are so many tools and it does go so deep and they do feel like they need to become masters of prompting. And again, none of that is actually true. You can start right now. You can start easy. And I say start by picking an AI that matches, your needs best and just talk to it. Ask it a question about anything that's on your mind and begin engaging with it and see what it can do for you. Once you understand what it can do for you, it opens up all these horizons of ideas. Oh, well, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try that. I use it to plan my vacations. I used it. We were on a trip to Europe and I had a 7-day slot between Italy and Greece. And I didn't know, well, where am I going to go before I need to be there to jump on this cruise ship? And I asked AI, I said, let's talk about countries I haven't been to. Ended up finding this little gem, Lake Ohrid in North Macedonia that I never even knew existed. And we spent a week there and it was fantastic. And I wouldn't have found that if it had not been for engaging with the AI to discover it.
Yeah, I tell people, if you think about how many books and seminars and things you've read in your life, what's your percentage of recall? Really, you've written 15, 16 books. What's your percentage of recall? And AI has read all the books. They've watched all the videos. And I'm being facetious here, not all, but they certainly have been trained. And they're only getting smarter. The models are getting smarter. What's interesting to me about the voice, like with ChatGPT, is you can give it the personality. So originally the personality was really supportive and fun and kind of playful. And then I'm like, no, just be direct. Don't be over encouraging. Just get to the point. Tell me what I need. And now it's interesting because now it's kind of really direct. And if I start going on a tangent, it comes back and says, you're on a tangent. Let's get back to the point. And so it's kind of funny.
But it can also be really easy for people to use. Go ahead, start slow, jump in an area where you feel comfortable. Of course, go to the AI for Everyone show at AIforeveryOneShow.com and go ahead, subscribe, listen there. Would value feedback from those of you that, enjoy it. It's both the video format and audio, although I do recommend that you watch the videos because a lot of what I do is very visual with AI. And I appreciate you having me on today, Ford.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. It's been amazing. All right, everybody. So thanks for tuning in to Fordify Live, where we're all about accelerating your business growth. Until next time, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep fortifying.